What is up, guys? Today we're going to be comparing the Moto G Stylus to the G8 Power. These are two really great smartphones, but they have some big differences, and the main difference is the price. $400 for the new G Stylus and around $160 and cheaper if you get it renewed for the G8 Power. So pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and just jump into first off, one of the biggest things that you will notice is the display. So on the G8, you have a smaller 6.4-inch IPS display. It's 1080p 399 for the PPI. And on the Stylus, you have a bigger 6.8-inch display at 1080p 387 for the PPI. So just off the bat, the reason why the display has to be, pretty big on the Stylus is because you are using this to, navigate with and draw. So people who want to use the Stylus obviously want a bigger phone. And there's a ton of stuff you can do. Take notes, use this coloring book, which I've been obsessed with since I got it. It's a crazy good time waster. But yeah, so the Stylus has a big display. So if you don't want a phone with a big display, or you just don't want a big phone in general, then you would get the G8 Power, because this phone is like massive. So if you're somebody with small hands, you're going to get the G8 Power for sure. So also the display quality on both of these phones are pretty much the same as far as them both being 1080p, them both having the punch hole on the left hand side. No high refresh rate on either of these, but pretty much the same. Color wise, brightness wise, you really can't tell the difference honestly in quality here, which is great. So that is really good for the G8 Power, since you're getting a really good display at a cheaper price point. As you can see, just color wise, you can't really tell any type of difference here. They both look really good. So overall for display, you're choosing between the size, and that's pretty much it. So it's just, do you want a big display or a small display? As far as the design and build quality, they're both plastic phones and they both have a splash resistant rating. Not IP, just splash resistant. Headphone jack on the Stylus, USB-C. You do have a single firing speaker, and the G8 Stylus actually, or I don't know why I keep calling it that, the G8 Power has a stereo speaker setup. So you have a speaker down below and up front. So that is one thing to note as well. Again, your Stylus right here, you pop it out and it'll actually take you straight to the notes and stuff like that. So you can just dribble. I don't know what I tried to spell right there. Yeah, so pretty much the same layout and pretty much the same feel. Our physical fingerprint scanner is on the back as well. So they both are pretty much identical in terms of quality there. So they both work really fast. So no issues with the fingerprint scanner on either of these devices. So overall for the build quality and hardware, they both, again, are similar, both plastic and both quad camera setups. So yeah, pretty similar as far as weight too. They both actually still feel about the same weight, with the Stylus being, of course, a little bit heavier, but not by much. Alright, so there is one thing that I want to talk about, and that is software. So both of these phones are running Android 11, and they're both, they're not, obviously powerful phones like that. They're more for people who are casually using their phone. So with the G8 Power, you do have Android 11 on here, Snapdragon 665, and the Adreno 610. Micro SD support, 64 gigs of internal storage, and 4 gigs of RAM. On the Stylus, we have the Snapdragon 480 5G chip, and then we have the Adreno 619 on here. Micro SD support, 256 gigs of storage on the G Stylus, so you have a ton more storage. 256 is really good. You don't even get that on some like high-end mid-rangers or flagship phones. So 256 is a lot of storage with micro SD card support, so remember that. And again, headphone jack, but on the G8 Power, you do have stereo speakers, which we will get into. So as far as just speed, overall speed, if you look at our Geekbench scores here, you will see that you will notice a difference here. But as far as performance, they're pretty much on par with each other. These are the latest scores that I got here. As you can see, with the Stylus beating out the G8 Power here in both the single core and the multi-core score. Now, if we actually go launch some applications and stuff, let's see how different these guys are. So we're in. So I think that's a pretty, I thought that was a pretty noticeable difference in terms of speed here. Let's try social media. Stylus again. Let's try YouTube. So we can see the Stylus is just a bit faster in terms of launching applications and games. You notice it a little bit more when it comes to your gaming experience, but overall it's not anything that's too crazy here. Camera, Stylus. So you get the point. The G Stylus is going to be the slightly faster phone, but of course you are paying, you know, much more money, but is the performance that much better on the Stylus? Now, as far as your gaming experience on here, if you check out the graphics for PUBG on the Stylus here, you can see we're on ultra smooth HD, and that's it. And I think that's about the same graphic settings we would get. Yeah, smooth, then balance. Oh, also, okay. So yeah, the Stylus is going to outperform the G8 Power by a good mile. So as you can see, we're stuck on medium, and this goes all the way up to ultra here, and we can't even go to HD. So yeah, you are gonna have much better gaming experience if you're trying to decide between these two phones and you want to game and stuff like that. The Stylus is going to be the overall better option, even though both phones aren't necessarily powerful. You know, as you can see here, you will get better FPS on games like PUBG. The G8 Power does handle other games just fine, Call of Duty Mobile. Both of these phones aren't really equipped to play Fortnite, but you can kind of get away with it on the Stylus. On like low to medium settings, you can kind of play. But as far as the gaming experience, just go ahead and check out my full gaming test on both of these devices. They are pretty good for gaming as far as if you're a casual gamer, especially the G8 Power at this price point. You can see super lagging. I'm getting like a lot of lag and stuff like that. So you might have to turn the graphics down. Like I said, not necessarily a gaming device. Like I said, okay, so that's much better. It's more for casual gaming, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so let's get into some more sort of cons with both of these phones, which would be that they do not have NFC. So if you're somebody that uses your phone for mobile payments, there is no NFC on here, so do note that. So I do want to talk about the speaker setup on here. So you do have stereo speakers on both of these devices, or not on both, but on the G8 Power. And that's one thing that I think the Stylus really should have had, is a stereo speaker setup, because it's a big phone. It's kind of easy to cover up just a single firing speaker. And we'll go ahead and let's hear how those sound. Like, it's very easy to cover up just a single firing speaker. You can hear right off the bat just a way more fuller sound on the G8 Power. See, I can still get pretty good quality even if I kind of cover it up with my finger. So again, I'm a big advocate for stereo speakers in all phones, so I really like that on the G8 Power. Now let's talk about the cameras on both of these devices. So you would think that the Stylus would have the better camera, but that is not true since it has a higher megapixel on the main lens. These two phones take the exact same pictures, and the G8 Power actually has better color accuracy than the Stylus does. So it just nails the colors. I don't know why, but you can always fix the color with a little bit of editing, but literally the same exact type of photo. So on the Stylus, you have a 48 megapixel standard, 8 megapixel ultra wide, 5 megapixel macro, 2 megapixel depth, 1080p, 16 megapixel selfie camera that also shoots in 1080p. As you can see from the shots with the Stylus, you're getting some great photos, really good photos when you're out in good lighting. Again, both of these phones get really soft and grainy if you're in sort of medium lighting or just not so good lighting. They're both going to sort of soften up on you. The ultra wide's great, macro's fun to play with. You get a good depth of field on both. Like I said, I didn't see a real difference with detail or anything. The only difference I saw was color. So on the G8 Power, you have a 16 megapixel standard, 8 megapixel telephoto, and then an 8 megapixel ultra wide, and then a 2 megapixel macro, 4K video, 16 megapixel selfie that shoots in 1080p as well. And as you can see with the G8 Power, you're still getting, it's the same story. You're getting great photos. To me, better color accuracy, but that's pretty much it. So both phones, good detail, good ultra wide. They both get a good depth of field. You get some nice portraits, pretty decent selfies. Like I said, in good light, these phones shine. If you take them out of good light, they sort of get a little noisy and grainy. So again, both, pretty good phones for being, these budget sort of mid-range phones. Alright, both phones have the exact same battery size. So they both have 5,000 milliamp batteries. But for whatever reason, the Stylus charges at 10 watts, which is annoying because that's kind of slow. And the G8 Power charges at 18 watts. So it's it's not much faster, but it's definitely noticeably faster. So I don't know why, but it is what it is. Now, you do have 5G on here. So this is capable of, doing 5G. I don't have 5G in my area here in North Carolina. So, I've never been able to test that out. As far as battery life, again, same size batteries, so they pretty much get the same battery life. To me, just using them as sort of like watching videos, social media, stuff like that. I'm not a heavy gamer, so these phones really can go all day, if not 2 days. Motorola claims 2 days, but I think more so a day and a half. So yeah, that is pretty much it. They're pretty much tied in regards of battery life. So great battery life for both of these phones. So if you need a phone that's going to last you all day, you can honestly choose, either of these and you'll be great. So, just to sum it up, the big difference here with the Stylus is that obviously you get the Stylus, and then you also get a bigger display on here and a slightly faster chipset on here. You can game sort of a little bit harder on the Stylus. With the G8 Power, it's a little bit more compact. Also still very fast, great cameras on both. You get stereo speakers, which you do not get on the Stylus. And they both have great battery life. So overall, it just depends on sort of the pros and cons we went over, choosing which stuff you care about more. So thanks for watching this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.